COVID-19 and social distancing. Hopefully by now you've heard that the coronavirus is responsible for causing the disease COVID-19. It's an RNA virus with small capsid proteins and a capsule around the outside of it that protects it and has these antigens, which essentially act as keys. Those antigens then allow it to infect our cells through receptor proteins, allowing them to move their viral RNA into our cells, take over machinery such as ribosomes to make their own enzymes, which then mass produce themselves through the endoplasmic reticulum and then exit that cell to go and find a new host cell. They then, of course, will infect in areas like the nasopharynx. This would produce a lot of mucus as your body tried to wash it away on your mucous membranes, the area of your nose and your throat just above your larynx, your voice box. When someone coughs from the tickle resulting from that mucus and droplets, that creates a bunch of respiratory droplets that contain small particles of the virus. Now, as that spreads in an environment, let's say that little Billy here is feeling just fine. He doesn't know that he's been infected. He's an asymptomatic carrier. He doesn't feel sick, but he's carrying small quantities of the virus inside of his droplets. And it can be anywhere from 4 to 6 days that he's an asymptomatic carrier. Now, he's been sitting around at home. There's been no school, so he's feeling rather bored. So he gets a bright idea. Hey, I'm young. I'm feeling fine. This is something that's affecting old people, not young people. I'm going to call up my buddies and go skateboard. So he texts up his buddies. Let's go meet at the skate park. He doesn't realize that he's a possible spreader. As he makes his way to the skate park, he runs into his friends. He's heard about the social distancing thing, heard the idea they got to be 6 feet away, the length of a broom handle. But eventually, as the day goes on, they kind of forget what they're doing. And hey, you want to borrow my new board? He gives his board to his friend, and now that third surface is contaminated. His friend or anyone at the skate park that touches any of those surfaces, such as skateboards or earbuds or door handles or the cell phones or drinks or even the shoelaces on your sneakers or handrails, just because you forget that you're not supposed to touch those right now and don't think about it because it's habit to be in our comfortable world. Now, as that then infects the next person, his buddy Jimbo picks this up. He was munching on some chips. He's taken some of the virus particles, the droplets of mucus, and accidentally brought them into his own nasopharynx. Now he's infected with it. Now he feels perfectly fine. He might go 4 to 6 days and show no symptoms. He may show no symptoms at all for his entire life because he's another asymptomatic carrier with a young and robust immune system. But when he eventually goes home or goes to visit somebody that he's related to or another friend, he accidentally exposes them, gets on the door handle, gets it on the rug, or he's helping out his grandpa and hands him the remote control because he's a nice kid. Grandpa now, unfortunately, or anyone else that's in his home, such as a young child or a baby, they might be in a different story. They may have a compromised immune system. They might have pre-existing conditions like asthma, or they might be completely healthy, but they're genetically different, and we don't know what this is going to do to everybody that could be exposed to it. They might have greater health impacts and have to go to the hospital. Their lungs might fill with mucus, allowing them to no longer breathe, risking their life and the lives of the people they care about. Now, as this happens, of course, those folks might be asymptomatic for many, many days. They could then go and visit others because they're not properly socially distancing, cutting down the number of people they interact with and surfaces they contact with that could possibly infect them or others. And it spreads from household to household. And as it does that, it starts the viral cycle again. The idea being here, if you reduce your number of social interactions in a standard format of physically being near the people, being closer than 6 feet, or going to public areas and contacting surfaces that might be infected with the virus, you can greatly reduce the number of people that we expose to this virus and hopefully give time for the healthcare workers to keep up with the number of cases that are already occurring. So I hope that you'll do your part to socially distance and be aware that you could be an asymptomatic carrier that could feel fine but still spread this disease and continue the problem. So do you want to be a spreader or do you want to be a helper and make the wise decisions? Thanks for listening.